We're not against rap. We're not against rappers. But we are against those.
Something big about to happen. I hear the beat tapping. We some fly rhyming felines rapping on the track. Better yet, grab a gat, cause we hot like Enzo. Doors closed, windows up, cause that's the way we like to ride. Windy City hitting. Check mic 1 2 1 2. We live, baby. Hey Chicago, and welcome back to Speak Your Mind Radio. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Queen Starr, aka Miss Hip Hop. And today we have a dope artist with us. He's not only a R&B and country singer, but he's also a video editor. And he's here to discuss his up and coming new song entitled Rescue. So you guys, without further ado, bringing up next to the mic, all the way from Boston, Massachusetts, Louie Bello.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Queen Starr,
Hey.
I appreciate you having me on. I really do.
Me too. I think you're awesome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, Louie here at Speak Your Mind Radio. We do a traditional icebreaker question for all the artists. So let's get started.
All right.
How do you make the world a better place with the music that you create?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I think maybe just keeping people focused on things other than the craziness in their life. You know, I think I try to help people think of, situations that make them feel better. Even if it makes them feel sad, it makes them feel like it's like a healing power I think music has. So I guess I just try to put people in a mood that'll help them through their day.
Yeah, definitely. That was a great answer because that's exactly the kind of effect that I got listening to your music,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so Louie, here's a question for you. What are and who are your cushions in life when things get a little bit tough?
I would say my daughter, my wife, and my mother. Probably my mother out of the most of anybody, because I always say like mothers will, for the most part, they're the only ones that will always be there for you forever and never judge you. Mothers and fathers, but like my mom is just like my rock. So no matter what I could do anything wrong, and my mother's always going to say it was probably the other person's fault. So I don't know if that's a good thing, but it is to me.
That is so sweet. Moms always have your back, so definitely. Actually, I just want to go straight into the song. Rescue Me. I had a chance to listen to it, Louie, and what I felt after listening to the song, I actually thought about my mom because she always rescues me. She's rescued me so many times when I was about to jump off the ledge of a building. She grabbed me. And of course, I'm using that as an example of my ups and downs of my personal life. But that's what I got from it. But Louie, what's your story behind the song?
So I wrote this song with a friend of mine in Nashville. His name is Jason Tucker. And you'll notice he's featured on the song too.
Yes.
Because it was so powerful when we wrote it. And after we kind of sat back and we listened to it, I was like, dude, you got to be on this because I think this could be a big record inspirationally for people. And so he's on it. But we just kind of were both writing about like, who's the person that rescues us in our lives? And we both had different probably opinions in our mind when we were writing it about who we're writing it for, but it morphed into something bigger than just our personal people. I was like, this is more about everybody's person who rescues them. I mean, right? It could be even like a dog could rescue some people. I mean,
Yes.
Talk about like people that, you look at it, if you're an animal lover, you got an animal you come home to, your day could be awful and you just hug that puppy and it just makes your whole life better. So it morphed into this bigger kind of idea.
That's beautiful. I like the way you said that because everything that we do is always an introduction to something new. So with that being said, Louie, what is this song an introduction to? What new avenues are you trying to explore? Because you do a lot of music with different genres. You play with it and you grasp the concept of it so clearly.
Oh, thank you. So the last like 5 years, I've been really, really pushing my connections in Nashville, my writing, and it's really made me a better songwriter. I've learned a lot about myself being down there and really explored country music and all the other genres that cross over to it, and like blues, R&B, and now you got a lot of artists that are crossing over like hip hop into country too. So it's a great time for me because of my roots being based in R&B and pop music. So for the last couple of years, I've been pushing the countryside, and I would say it's more country pop when you listen to it because it's not always traditional country. It's like the new country that I like because it does infuse all that. So yeah, so this genre is really pushing my dive into country music.
Most definitely. Your friend Jason Tucker, tell me a little bit more about his background.
So Jason is from Detroit originally and moved down to Nashville years and years ago. And actually, funny story is he grew up around the time of well, a little after Jodeci. So he used to he used to DJ at roller skating rinks down that way when so like yeah, it was like this really cool connection. And that's how me and him vibe because we were doing writing sessions. He started telling me his R&B background. And I was like, yo, I'm like, that's dope because I grew up with Bobby Brown and New Edition. They live down the street in my neighborhood. So it's like to have those connections in Nashville, writing country music, it's hard not to come out into the song. You know what I mean? So
definitely. I actually want to talk about your win in 2014 with the what's it called? The Music Boston Awards.
Oh, the Boston Music Awards. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so cool. Tell me about it.
So that was really cool because like, you know, people always say, you know, every city I think has its stories about how like, oh, our city doesn't support, you know, local musicians. It's always out of towners. And I think that's a stigma everywhere, you know, because we always think it's only relevant to our own cities. I'm sure in Chicago, there's probably people that say like, nobody puts Chicago people on. Yeah, I just think, and as I traveled and toured, I realized like, oh, it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
So to have an award show like the Boston Music Awards, to try to kind of change that vibe of it, and then to like be recognized and win, it's super cool because I love Boston. I mean, I've traveled all over the world, but Boston is just who I am. So, you know, so it was really cool to be recognized like that.
I think so too. And you were up there with some of the greatest, like everybody from Bobby Brown. He won the Boston Music Award.
Yeah.
It was Nirvana or
New Kids on the Block. New Kids on the Block.
Nirvana.
Right. Nirvana. Hey, I don't know. Maybe no. They might have stopped through. John Mayer, Boston Music Award,
and I think Alicia Keys too.
She was recognized one year, and I think Aerosmith, of course, from
Aerosmith. It was Aerosmith. Yep.
Aerosmith won, and there's been a lot of like old classic rock groups that were recognized in the Boston Music Awards. So it is cool. It's just I think anytime anybody recognizes, for me personally, anything that I do, I don't care who it is. I love it because, you know, at the end of the day, we all do it to try to make a living, but it's one of those things where you want to have people react to what you do. Otherwise, why do you do it? It's like, you know, it's like the old adage of like, I don't want to make CDs so I can play my music for the person in my car and that's it. Like I want that. I want everybody to hear it.
Right. And
even if you don't like it, I want you to hear it, and then you can tell me what you think.
Exactly. So even if you don't like it, you want people to hear it. So have you had those times where you've had a bunch of songs that you were sitting on? I ask every artist this because it's even if you don't like it, somebody else may like it. They may get help from it and guidance from it. So do you have any songs like that you've just been sitting on?
Yeah, well, I released a song years ago. It's still on Spotify. It's called Chasing Rainbows, and it was back when I was doing more of my pop, like the pop R&B type of stuff, before I started doing country. And it's definitely more of a pop song, but it's very powerful. And at the time, I thought it was kind of powerful, but like I kind of forgot about it because I just keep writing and making new music and put it out. But somebody the other day, actually, you know, I was talking to them, and they said, "Man, out of all your music, Chasing Rainbows was my favorite." And that was like 2013 or 14. So I was like, oh, really? And they said that it really helped them through like a down time, and they heard the lyrics. And that kind of stuff is crazy because I forgot about that song in the sense of like promoting it or telling people about it. It's there. I did it and I kind of moved on, but it shows me the power of some things that you do that just lasts forever. And it may only be for like one person, but that's cool. It's just one person. That's cool with me.
That's what I say. As long as it gets through to at least one person, then you've done your job, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay. So tell me more about your editing skill. How did you jump into media like that?
Oh, like movie editing. So I jumped in out of necessity because, growing up in the city in Boston, I learned at a young age that you needed to hustle to get any opportunity that you wanted to get. And I had the choice of being a hustler or hustling people. And I chose to be a hustler because I love people and I can't be that type of hustler. So I learned how to create and use, opportunities to build my brand and build my networks. And so when it came to video editing, I always was writing like scripts and movies and things like that. And I wanted to do my own videos for music. I don't have a budget. So part of the thing is learn how to do it myself and then surround myself with a team of people that can help me. So that's kind of what I surrounded myself with the people that could help me and learned along the way with them. And I said, listen, if you guys can do this part of it, I'm going to learn the editing. And so now all our movies are short films, everything. Like I'll do the main editing of it. And then we'll get to like a finish editor, like somebody who's really, really good at the final editing to put the effects on. But who knows, by next year, I've been doing lots of tutorials. I might be doing the effects, who knows? But it just came out of necessity because I don't have the budget. I never had the budget to just be like hiring all kinds of editors from LA and all the stuff to do stuff. So,
Wow.
Just learning.
Yeah, learning is a great process. You have to learn as you go, and you picking up those extra skills really cultivated your career thus far,
Yeah.
So let me ask you the question, because you said a lot of video editing. You did the song for the what's it called, ESPN Push documentary?
Oh, Push documentary, yes.
Yeah, was that came out like 2020?
No, that was I think that was I think 16. I think it was 16 around that time. Yeah, it was a few years ago. It was like 15, I think it was 16. So I did that. So a friend of mine, Malik Williams, who I had worked with in the past doing some production, he does a lot of film and TV stuff. And he had this opportunity for a show to this documentary before it was actually on ESPN. And he did a lot of the music for it. And we wrote that song, and they actually changed the title of the movie to that song because I forget what the title was before, but they heard the song and they were like, yo, this is like the title song. And they changed the movie name to Push. And then it got picked up by ESPN. It was on ESPN2. It was really, that was a cool experience because, it kind of opened my eyes up to more of the film world and seeing how documentaries are made, which got me more excited about transitioning myself over to that someday. And so I slowly been transitioning into that field of making movies and things as part of my, my collective entertainment, skills.
Yeah.
So it was inspiring,
It is inspiring, not because when I was like going through your discography and stuff, I came across the song Faces, and that was straight R&B, and like the whole video was a movie to me. And it was just really dope,
Well, I appreciate it. That's one that I would have to say that is probably one of my favorite songs ever.
For real?
I think for me, because of the vibe of it, it was such a that guitar line that my friend is. So there's a production company up here in Boston called Surefire Studios, and my good friend Jared Hancock's producer, and he actually does all film stuff now, which is cool. We all like transitioned, but he used to work with like Brooke Hogan. He worked with BB Rexa. Like they worked with a lot of cats that came to Boston that you would never know were there to record. So we worked together a lot when they were first coming up, and that was the first song I ever recorded with them. And the girl in that video, I don't know if you know who that is.
So pretty. I don't know who she is, and she's beautiful.
Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. So that is Diane Guerrero. Diane Guerrero was the star, one of the stars of Orange is the New Black. She was on Supreme Donuts, like on NBC, ABC. So if you go back and look Diane Guerrero later on, so you'll see this stuff. But that was the first ever music video that she ever did in her life before she moved to New York. And she wrote a book 2 years ago, and I made it into like, I forget what page it is. I made it in the book, and she actually credited me. She's like, Louie Bello. I did my first music video with this kid named Louie Bello, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I made it into a book.
That's dope.
Yeah. So
I love it.
And she actually, like, if I texted her today, like, she would text me back. And that's what's so cool about her is that she's like, all these projects going on. She's way above me. doing what she's doing, but she's just down to earth and she's super cool. And she made that video look amazing and authentic.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool because, like, I didn't know who she was. Like I said, she just stood out like a sore thumb. I'm like,
oh yeah, there was no way of missing her.
That is so cool. So now you've had your music heard all over, like from VH1 to NBC television shows. How did you feel when the executives reached out to you and said, "Hey, we want to use your music"?
As I can't even describe it. It was like one of those where, you call everybody and you're just like, hey, episode 7 at 5:00 next week. You're gonna just listen, and sometimes it's only like 20 seconds of your song, but it's underneath something. But it's like, hey, listen real hard at like 5 minutes in, and you're just like, that's my song, Mom. Of course, Mom's the first one that's like, oh my gosh, my baby. Oh so that's
Mom's dope.
She's awesome. Yeah. So no, it is great, and it's a great source of like extra revenue because a lot of the TV shows don't pay a lot per se per what it does is like the residuals of how many times they're played, the episodes. So if you get on a popular show that's replayed on cable or streaming networks, like over time, you just keep collecting these residual checks. So as you get more and more placements, it's just like a great source of extra income. And that obviously is a big deal too, because you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start getting some checks in and pay the light bill, it's like that stuff. So it's such a process.
Yeah, it definitely is a process, but I'm pretty sure it helps you with your family and things of that nature. And then speaking of your family, Louie, how important is family altogether, especially dealing with the entertainment world and your mental health? How does that all intertwine or balance for you?
Well, it's funny because I'm very focused, and I always say sometimes I can be very selfish. And I'm sure people hearing this that know me are going to be like, yep, he can be. But I think I'm just selfish with my creativity, and it's not a purposeful thing. It's just more, it's hard because when you choose to do this industry and have a family, it's very tough. I mean, I don't care who they are. Anybody says, oh, I'm touring all over the world and my family's fine. I'm like, no, I guarantee you that's not perfect. And that's okay, because that's life, right?
Yes.
So I've taken a long time to try to figure out how to balance. There's never a perfect balance. I think you just have to surround yourself with people that are understanding. And I was divorced. I have a daughter who's 17. And so I was divorced a long time ago from her mother. I'm married again. And I'm actually having a baby coming up soon in a couple months. I know.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. People are like, are you crazy? You got a daughter in college. That's it. And I'm like, I know, starting over again. So, but that scares me. That scares me because of the challenges of like being a dad again. Because, being a dad to a 17-year-old and going through all that, and you kind of like, you're like, she's going to college next year. And now I'm like, oh, I'm going to be changing diapers and sending food to a dorm room. Like, what is that?
That is cool.
But it's important to me. Like, I think Nashville, it's so funny because people outside the country world don't understand. Like, Nashville gets a bad rap sometimes with, it comes to diversity and things like that. And they're working on that because obviously, country music was very non-inclusive for a long time, and it just is what it was. Country music was what it was. But it's so much more than that now. Like everything, like the world's opened up in Nashville. And when I started going down there, what I really loved about what they stand for is family in artistry. And I never found that in R&B or pop growing up. If you were a pop star, nobody mentioned you had a wife. Nobody mentioned you had a girlfriend. You might mention you had a kid. But I always noticed that, like, until you became super famous to where you have so many fans, you notice artists never. It was always about, the sexual interaction between the fans and all that stuff. So you never knew if somebody had a girlfriend for real. I knew a lot of artists that had families, but you would never know that. And I learned from that school, and I would never, like, not purposely, but just the last thing in my mind was to tell anybody on an interview that I had a wife or I had a baby coming. But once I started going to Nashville, I literally saw that, like, that was part of who they are, and that's what their fans love. The realism of, like, it wasn't like a fake story. It was like, hey, I'm a country bumpkin that grew up on a farm and raised horses, and I have a girlfriend and 2 kids, and I live. Like, and I realized like that became part of the song, like,
Amen.
right. And so I felt that, and I'm like, that sang to me. And that's kind of why I really felt deeper into country music. And I was just like, I'm a fan, so I'm gonna really see what this is all about, and I love it now. So now I talk, and I'm very open with my personal life, whereas like 15 years ago, I probably would have been like, oh, I don't really, I don't have a girlfriend, I'm open, see what happens. Like I would have been real, like, because I learned, grew up back, in the 90s and stuff, R&B groups. That's what it was. You had to be like that in order to be a star,
That's
record labels would tell you to stop dating your girlfriend. Like that was the industry. Like you can't have a girlfriend. You haven't made it yet.
Right.
If you have a kid, you better have your mom take care of that kid, because we don't want anybody to see that you have a kid. Like that kind of stuff really happened in the industry. So it's less now, because I think there's too many internet sites. You're gonna find out somebody has a girlfriend now, or a wife, or kid. So yeah. So
no, that was a good feedback and everything, because a lot of people don't know that. I know as I started interviewing more and more artists and people in general, I'm like, wow, these people really have a freaking life outside of what they already are known for. They have family, they go through personal problems, and it makes life so much interesting to know that somebody you really like and adore has gone through the same things you've gone through.
100%. That's a good way to put it. That is a good way to put it. Because I actually vibe off my fans. I do Instagram lives and things, and sing songs and come up with concepts. And I'll have people like putting messages like, oh my God, I just lost my father, or I just broke up with my girlfriend, or I just had a baby. And you look at that stuff and you're just like, yeah, it's just like me. Like I'm connected to you in that way. So I want to bring something that helps you with that. And it just really pushes you as a writer to connect, even if it's a party song. I always say you gotta have party songs. So some people laugh. Yeah. They'll laugh and be like, yeah, but you put that song, Got It Bad. What does that connect to? I'm like, because it's like fun. It's summertime. Like,
thank you. Right.
Who doesn't want to forget about their problems and just go outside and party?
Have fun.
That's life too. Isn't it always serious?
That is so true, Louie. I love your outlook on life. I love your perspective. And my next question for you is like, I know you had a show, Quarantine. What's it called? Quarantine
Sessions.
Yeah, you had about 8 weeks ago. What happened with it?
So we put it on hold for a little while because I had to finish up a bunch of projects. We're actually thinking of bringing it back. I think what I did was during quarantine, I did it twice a week for a while. And I think I burnt myself out because I was doing it every Monday and Tuesday, and I was still working on music. And so we kind of like put it on hold, but it was kind of cool. We interviewed Patriots players. Peter Brady from the Brady Bunch came on as my guest. Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC was my guest. Jamie from All for One, I swear, like Jamie was on there. So I literally called all my friends that I had met, or friends of friends, and said, hey, nobody's doing nothing. Like, let's come on my Instagram. And it was really cool. Like, so I definitely will bring it back soon, but I am swamped right now. I am like, I don't know when I have time to eat dinner sometimes. So I'm just like, let me finish all these projects. And then, because all my boys are like, yo, I got this guest, that guest, let's try to. And I'm like, all right, soon, guys, soon we will do this again. So
that is awesome. It seems like the universe has a lot of things planned for you, and you're like being pulled in every which direction,
I hope so. I hope so.
You do. I feel like you do, but
thank you.
You're welcome. I want to talk about that one episode that you had on your show. It was you were talking about taking the preventive measures of COVID-19. You had some kind of nozzle spray.
Oh yeah. So that's funny. You saw that. That's cool. Yeah. I got a lot of flack for that, but from different people. But I also got a lot of praise for it. So it was like so I do a lot of research with stuff, especially with COVID going on. I have a lot of time. So I'm not a doctor by any sense. So anybody out here, I'm not a Dr. Bello. I went to school for a long time, but I never became a doctor, just so you know. But a friend of mine was working for a company, and he started showing me this nasal spray like months and months ago. And it's actually a spray I used probably like 15, 16 years ago. It's been at CVS, Walgreens for years. It's just for to help you to breathe better. It's all natural. It's like grapefruit seed extract and some other things. So it's not a medicine, so it doesn't harm you in any way, but it just helps keep your nasal passages open, sinuses. And some people it works really good for, some they don't really feel the effect. But at the beginning of COVID, they were doing this study at this cold and cough facility in Miami, and there was this doctor who was a renowned like cold and cough specialist, and they were using that nasal spray to try to see if it affected flu viruses. So they were already in the process of that when COVID came out. So then they started doing tests and try to do like independent tests on COVID as the time went on. And they were finding that it was killing like a big percentage of the virus when it hit the spray. So they were getting blocked by a lot of the FDA and drug companies, because as we all know, drug companies make a lot of money off us. And sometimes the stuff that they're pushing is not always the best stuff. So because this spray was cheap, it was already in the store, it was something that people could just go buy at CVS, they really blocked a lot of the information coming out. So over the last couple months, a lot of the studies have come out, and basically it's called Clear, but it's spelled an X. It's like XLEAR. And I mean, you should try it, because at the end of the day, the worst case scenario, it helped. Like after a couple of days, you start using it, you'll feel a little difference in your breathing in your nose. And best case scenario, it does kill a big percentage. If the virus went up your nose, it kills a good percentage of that. If you're using it, throughout the day, like I use it like 3 or 4 times a day. If I'm going to go into a store, even with my mask on, I just a couple sprays, go in, wake up in the morning. So again, I'm not promoting the product. I don't get anything out of it. I just know that it's made me feel like breathe a lot better. And the studies have shown that it's killing some of the virus. So I'm like, hey, why not? Why not try it? So that's just me.
Yeah, that was good, Louie. I'm glad you shared that information with the listeners out there and the viewers. That's pretty dope. The video for Rescue is going to be released when? February?
So the song comes out the 23rd. I am working right now so hard to get this video done. I was working before we did this. I was working on it, and afterwards I'm gonna finish it. So the video should be done tomorrow. So my hopes is the video will come out the same day, 23rd, as the song. That's my, cross my fingers that it's done by then. We had a few challenges because I've been going back and forth to Nashville, but when we were supposed to shoot the video, I couldn't make it down there. And so I had to have Jason shoot his parts. I shot my parts up here, and then I'm editing it all together. So that was the challenge, getting that footage from him. And so we're almost on track. We're like 92% there. So yeah, we're close.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the video, because especially now that it's shot in 2 different locations, Boston and Nashville. Yeah, that's gonna be hot.
I think it'll make a good story. It wasn't my ideal way to shoot this video. I felt like I could do something more powerful, but I had to say to myself, like, right now the whole world's got challenges, and I think part of the story of this video will be cool is the challenge of trying to create it. And I think that might help with the story, so. Yeah,
definitely. This is a great narrative right here. For real. Well, Louie, I know there's one more question on the tip of my tongue, and I'm just going to push it out. Push. Do it. Okay. What genre of music will you want to try to scurry over to next? Because you've done R&B, you're doing country, you've done pop. What else is next?
I think I'm gonna stick with the country pop, like the country that's pop. I think I'm stick. That's my thing. I mean, that doesn't mean I won't feature on EDM stuff. I got a song coming out on this next EP. It's called Jesus, and it's like more of like a crossover country EDM / thing. So I'm going to keep the country elements in my songs, I think, from here on out, just because I just love it. But I definitely will experiment. Like, you'll hear 808s in my country music and things like that. Like, that's always gonna, there's a song we did called Disappointed that's on Spotify. That's one of my favorite too, like for party up tempo. And it's got 808s and super fast country picking guitars. It's pretty cool. So
music to my ears. So I got to go watch Disappointed and Chasing Rainbows. Boom.
Yes. There's a video for Chasing Rainbows too. I was much younger in that video, so you might be like, wait a second, this kid's old now. But that was a long time ago.
Nah, you look excellent. Trust.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Was one more question? I think that was it. Thank you so much, Louie, for coming on today's show. I had a blast talking to you.
Me too.
I hope this is not the last time that we speak, because you are super cool, like for real.
Oh, listen, hopefully when this record blows up,
yes,
the record blows up, we'll talk again after we're going to get that Grammy this year.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, Louie. Louie, you made me want to continue on listening to country music. I had to get that out.
Awesome. I love it. It's not a bad thing. I'm telling you, it's not a bad thing.
All right. Well, thank you again, Louie.
Thank you.
And everybody out there who tuned in, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule to tune in to these real life stories. If you want to get in touch with Louie Bello, the link in my YouTube Speak Your Mind will be right there in the caption for his IG, and also for the song Rescue didn't come out yet, so just for the IG, okay?
Yeah, the IG. Yeah, there's a link. It'll come out. There's a pre-save link on my Instagram, so you can pre-save it. So
there you go. There you have it. All right. Peace out, Louie.
bye.
Bye.